Hi, I'm Fayrisk, your new favorite artist. And welcome to the second video of this two-part project about my D&D character. If you want to check out the creation of my original character, Alistair the Tiefling Warlock, go watch part 1, which is linked down below, where I talk about him in detail and tell you more about his backstory. Let's dive into how I created a whole game based on my D&D character. First of all, everything started with me having to come up with a submission for a final project in a cross-media course for uni that required working with digital media in an open-ended way. I don't study game design nor anything related to it, but I have had some experience in creating game concepts from scratch before. Since I knew I wanted to submit a video for this class, and I was heavily obsessed with pixel art at the time, I decided I wanted to create some sort of pixel animation with a short story to follow. Very enthusiastically, I was extremely inspired to create a retro-style pixel RPG-like animation that would look like a teaser for a real game. Why did I do that to myself again? I truly just am a cliché of that one unnecessarily ambitious person in every class that will wholeheartedly put 200% of effort into a project just because they can. Honestly, I'm just an undiagnosed neurodivergent girlie with a tendency to burn herself out because she sees too much potential in expressing herself in the smallest task given to her. For my course, I had to create a concept and document every step of the creation for that video project. Thus, I also decided to produce a whole documentary including my process and all steps leading up to the final video result. After I had to present small progresses and snippets of my project, I got some very nice feedback and figured a lot of people might be interested in the workflow of such a project and what programs are used for it. This huge project was done besides another video project I was doing for this course, and another course and other finals I was doing in other art-related courses. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest, but I was super hyped to see what I was able to create in less than 4 months. With my character already finished and fleshed out, I wrote myself a to-do list to tackle. I didn't need to draw a fully rendered character sheet, but it certainly helped to further nail down Alistair's design and reference it for any animation sequences I had to make. I am truly happy with how much time I got to spend with him during this project and how real he seemed to become the more time I spent on working on him. I also made a Pinterest board for him just for fun, did some research on basic animation cycles, like a walk cycle and idle animation and tag animations, and also drawing out a pixel base for Alistair to see how I needed to translate his details into the art style. That was the first step to coming closer to the final video project I wanted to submit for my course. Doing this already took enough time, but I also had to do animations for him, remember? I came up with a story concept where I wanted to let him walk onto the screen, fight a simple enemy, show off his powers, and walk off the scene. I know I added another task of designing an enemy, but I managed to leave it simple enough so I wouldn't spend even more time on that. I started out with animating the first animation cycle of him idling. It was pretty hard to figure out what program I should use, but I caved and bought Pixsquare for my iPad, which I don't regret at all. I loved working with it. This was the first animation I showed in class, by the way, where I decided to document the process additionally. Then I went on to animating his walk cycle, which was a whole struggle of its own, but after watching a lot of tutorials I gained enough basic knowledge to make it work, I think. Then I simultaneously worked on his attack animation that was almost the most labor-intensive part of the project. I tried out many things and made it work in a way that I found good enough to look at. I have to admit, I was growing prouder of this project with every frame of these animations. I worked almost every day on them for hours. I really wanted to see the results. After this, I tackled the enemy design and came up with a simple slime blob monster typical to the genre. I am very happy with this choice, as it was pretty easy to animate and rather relaxing work in comparison to the complex design of Alistair. Finally, I was able to try out a background for him to walk on. This background was a science of itself, I'm telling you. I wanted to move some parts individually to create the illusion of depth while he walks through it. I separated each part into its own layer and chose a wide image ratio to have enough information to work with the final animation file. Now that I had this retro RPG style going on with the pixel art style, I felt like I needed more indicators of a game that you could actually play. Here's the moment my project was brought onto a new level by me designing user interface assets that would sell the illusion of a real game. I also designed a logo which I used for the title screen sequence. Additionally, I drew out many things which were used elsewhere or never went into the final project. Now that I had everything I needed for the animation, I only had one thing left to do, which was cutting the artworks into a fully animated and coherent story. I also thought it would be a great idea to show the documentary first and finishing it off with the final video result, to suspense excitement for the final product. From the feedback I gained after the final presentation, I could tell my plan worked out successfully. But I think I talked enough about the creation process, and I feel like it's time to show the epic result of this monstrous project. Hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I would appreciate it if you left a like and if you'd subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I will be able to come up with another project like this in the near future. I already have a few cool ideas in my deck. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.